Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thursday. It's May 13th, 2021. This Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Chugwater Chili, the gourmet spice of Western life. Do you know that they now make a Chugwater chili seasoning in a hot version? For those of you wanting a little extra spice in their chili, give Chugwater Chili Hot a try. Well, here comes the sun. Yes, I'm talking about the Beatles song. A lot of folks may be humming that tune today as we finally got ourselves into a warming trend now. It's going to be more mild than warm. It's not going to get real warm. It's going to be mild. Temperatures are actually going to be where they should be, which for most of this region means highs in the 60s to lower 70s. And that's exactly where we're going to be for many days in a row. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to start to pop up beginning on Friday and lasting into next week. Now, there's some of you listening and watching this podcast in parts of Nebraska and parts of central Kansas that could have some thunderstorms today, but there won't be many. But tomorrow, through the weekend and into early next week, showers and thunderstorms are going to be likely in many areas, but temperatures are going to stay mild. No significant cold is expected for the next week to 10 days. So for you gardeners out there, usually this time of May, right around the 15th of May up till the May 25th time frame, depending on your elevation, we're getting close to the last average frost freeze, and it looks like we may have gotten over a hump. I don't expect any significant cold for the next week to 10 days, and if that holds, then having a really big cold snap late May and into early June, while possible, isn't looking as likely. So gardeners, you can start maybe get going here in the coming days. We're also going to spend some time at the end of the podcast looking at the uneven spring precipitation patterns. We've showed you some maps, but I'm going to show you some real data from measured rainfall and snowfall since the beginning of January in different parts of Wyoming, Colorado, and Nebraska to show you it's feast or famine when it comes to the spring precipitation this year. Here's today's map. West to east flow means Pacific air. This is why it's going to be mild. Mild air coming in off the Pacific, off the west coast and moving on through. Notice the green and the blue colors. That's where the really cold air is. Well, it keeps going up in latitude, and that's expected this time of year as the jet stream is going to be migrating more north. But we've got a couple little ripples here, and this is what's going to be producing our weekend shower and thunderstorm activity. On Saturday, we've got a little upper level low in California, but it's cut off from any cold air. There's really just very little cold air with it. This is going to meander really slowly for 5 days, taking a path like that. So it's not going to bring any really cold air. In fact, the southwest flow ahead of it will bring in some pretty mild air in the coming days. But what this will do is bring an area of instability and moisture to the atmosphere to where you just need the heat of the day to trigger showers and thunderstorms. This is by Wednesday. See it down here? This is Wednesday. This is Saturday. Wednesday. So the system is going to take its sweet time moving on through. But any really colder air is going to be locked up north of that line there, and it's going to be a very mild air mass into the nation's midsection, including the high plains and Rockies. So that's going to lead to a very spring-like weather pattern. Shower and thunderstorm activity will develop. Now notice this area where the thunderstorms and the showers are going to be more widespread. This is because that's where the upper level low is. So the best instability and the best chance of rain-producing thunderstorms will be in these blue areas, in these yellow and orange areas. There will be scattered showers and thunderstorms just about everywhere, though, but it's kind of up to luck. It's up to chance on whether or not you get a decent rain or one that's lighter. But if you're along and east of I-25 in Wyoming and Colorado, along I-76, I-80 in this area here, you're going to be looking at the better chances of moisture in southeast Colorado and southwest Kansas, which are still running big deficits. They're going to get another shot in the arm there. Look how high those snow levels are. When you see a May pattern come in like this, and you only see a little bit of snow up in those higher mountain areas, well, that means that we are definitely getting over that hump. These are the next 10 days for temperatures based on averages. We have a little bit, this isn't very cool. This is just a little cooler than normal here, but the rest of the West over the next 7 to 10 days will be near to a little bit above average. So that is good news if you're a gardener, and good news, I think, for everybody's mental health to get ourselves into a warmer weather pattern. Here's the risk for thunderstorms. This will be for tomorrow. Anywhere you see that lighter shade of green means there's a good chance of thunderstorms. The darker shade is where you might have thunderstorms that could get strong, producing some hail and some heavy rain and gusty winds. And that's what it looks like for Saturday. So you can see it's eastern and southeast Colorado, western Kansas, and the panhandles that are going to probably have the best chance for strong thunderstorms. One thing we have not seen this spring is large outbreaks of severe weather. And you know why? It's because it's been so cool. April was so cool, and May has been pretty cool. That's actually suppressed the severe weather. However, with it getting warmer now, the likelihood of severe weather and strong thunderstorms starts to go up. Now I want to step through multiple locations and show you the differences in precipitation patterns based on where you are. Because a lot of people's weather perceptions are set from where they live. So if you're living in an area like southeastern Wyoming or the Front Range of Colorado, where it has been very moist since that big March snowstorm, you might be thinking we're out of the drought in this region and that everything's hunky-dory. But then you go to places west of the Continental Divide and other areas up north, and it's a different story. Here's Rock Springs, Wyoming. Look at this. Almost 2 inches below normal for the year. For the year so far, there should be 2 3/4 inch of rainfall, only 0.85 for the year so far. If you compare to last year, it's actually worse than last year in western and southwestern areas of Wyoming. Now let's go over the divide, down Interstate 80 to Cheyenne. Cheyenne is almost 3.5 inches above average in precipitation for the year. And get this, this is where Cheyenne was a year ago. 3.48, 3.5 inches, 7.5 inches. Cheyenne has received 4 inches more moisture to date this year than last year. So it is the tale of two different situations just along Interstate 80. Now let's look at Gillette, Wyoming. Gillette, Wyoming is like Rock Springs, 1.5 inches below average. Last year was 3.5 about, 2.59 for the year so far. So just northeastern Wyoming to southeastern Wyoming, a big gradient. Chadron, Nebraska, not very far from Gillette, same thing. Almost 2 inches below average, and actually precipitation is worse to date this year than last year, which was so dry. Sheridan, Wyoming, look at this. Almost 2 inches above average for the year, just under 7 inches for the year, and way better than a year ago. So Sheridan and Gillette, there's a wide discrepancy, and they're not very far apart. Denver is really rocking it. Look at that. Denver, departure from normal, 4 inches above average, already at 8 inches for the year. Denver currently has approximately double the amount of precipitation based on normal conditions. But you go on the other side of the mountains and you go to Grand Junction. Grand Junction should be at 3.3 for the year so far, but they've only gotten 2 for the year, which is actually worse than a year ago. So it really is feast or famine. The western side of the divide and the eastern side of the divide have two different stories. I guess the good news is there are these islands of areas that have gotten more moisture, especially eastern Colorado, southeastern Wyoming, and parts of Nebraska and Kansas. But there's a large chunk of real estate that is still in drought conditions, and tomorrow we'll have the new drought monitor and we'll be able to show you where the current drought conditions are. But this is just an example to show you, you get in the car and you drive 100 miles or even less in some areas, and you go from very wet to very dry. Don't forget to use Chugwater Don at checkout to get 20% off at chugwaterchili.com. We'll see you on Friday. Have a good Thursday, everybody.